Let's see. Make sure you guys can hear me okay. All right. Just making sure that the sound was fine. I just switched microphones around for yesterday's broadcast. And it always gets kind of screwed up. So at least it is working now. Neuro. Hey, I hit it at 9:30. Neuro. I waited 2 minutes and I was like, he's not doing it today. No, coffee's good. Sound is a little low. And maybe. I don't know. Let me see. See if I raise this up just a little bit. Yeah, it's two different microphones, so I gotta like adjust one and then adjust the other one back again. So, girl's next to me. Yes, Susan. She just gave me a look. She knew I was talking about her. So she's with me. No boys today, so I am doing the double shift duty this morning. Um, all right. So, oh, it's Wednesday. I can't believe it's the 23rd already. Todd was talking about that. I was like, what? I was like, it is the 23rd. You are correct. I got like a bunch of. I got like a new light setup, right? Um, that I'm trying to get configured. Unfortunately, though, I have low bezel monitors, and this is a clamp that wants to clip to the top, and I'm like, but there's not really like a bezel, so I'm still trying to get it set. But I don't know if any of you guys watched the Natix broadcast this morning, but I was trying to get a more like kind of natural light into it, so it was a better kind of clarity or whatever. And I'm like, man, there's like so many different functions. I have like white light, I have warm light. What the heck is the other one? White? I forget. Now I'm confused. It's like white light or white warm and bright, I guess is the third option. I don't know. But yeah, so there's a light rig and unfortunately like I'm like, man, I got all these buttons to push. I'm like, huh. And then I realized like, man, now the light's tipping and I can see it pushing on the monitor. It's like, oh. So yeah, so my low bezel screens are not working for this clip thing. I'm gonna have to figure something out here. But yeah, so the whole everything is changing. Um all right, so today we've had a decent amount of movement in the pound, and again, earlier news this morning. We had some great pound data, followed by really what I would say is I don't know. The European data was a little bit mixed. I mean, obviously the German data was great. French data was not so great. Overall, the European itself data was good, right? It was up. Services didn't move much. I was expecting the services to move a little bit more based off the German number. Pounds were down a little bit, but it was kind of one of those situations where it was like revised up, revised down, a little bit higher. So really, it was kind of a non-factor. It was more their growth figures that moved it. And then we had obviously dismal retail sales numbers in the CAD, but you can see that the CAD is basically heading straight down. Um, it's basically a pure dollar play like this. It's all straight down. The number here horrible for the CAD, right? Minus 7.2 and minus 5.7 month over month, but yet it's just still continuing to gain strength. So it's just rolling to the downside. I wouldn't be surprised though if this does retrace. And again, it's mostly a dollar story right now. So dollar data is coming in the next 7 minutes. We'll be able to get that flash data. I don't know that it'll move much. It may serve as a bit of a reversal area, but we'll see how it goes in. And then crude is going to be the big story. I don't know if you guys saw it or not. We'll cover it in a bit, but the API number was a huge miss. Again, double again. Not quite. It's not quite double. Todd's like, yeah, that's double. I was like, no, because 3.6. This would be 7.2. I was like, it's not quite there. We're close, Todd. We're close. But you know how those industry guys are. They're always rounded up. So we'll see if we get out of that. As far as kind of like again, getting like the latest breaking news out of here. Um, how this are we back on track? Let's see. Warren Buffett has given away 4.1 billion and resigns as a trustee. That's interesting. I didn't see that before. Um, So he's no longer part of the Gates Foundation. But this is the unemployment news we were talking about. The unemployment growth record hits a high for the UK. Again, still in the same, still in the same camp. Still bullish on the pound. I think they will continue to go. Um, and this is funny. China says its military is ready to respond to all provocation. It's like whatever. Okay, got to get it in there. They haven't been in the news in 2 days. Let's just throw something out there that it's whatever. And then it's something on Japan, but again, Japan is always a little bit. They're always going to play the they require this, right? They require this, showing contraction. It says sub 50. Japan is fine with that. I don't think it really makes much difference. So this will be the big one. We'll see this and we'll see how it rolls in. Early tomorrow morning, we do have some data before we kind of talk. We have the monetary policy summary for the pound. Uh, I think it'll be interesting. As I said, I think pound is strong. I think we'll see kind of how we roll into that. Um, I think it could be definitely an interesting statement to see what their recovery, really what they're saying for recovery. Um, again, all their data is suggesting that they're farther ahead than we are, like one or two steps. I'm curious to see if they mention kind of the interest rate, rising interest rates, or what they're really going to do with it. I think there's some different potential in there for that one. So very curious to see what they have in there. And again, it's nice that it's not a 3 o'clock in the morning release. It is a 7 a.m., so it's not like a middle of the night type scenario there. And then obviously final GDP and unemployment claims tomorrow. Now remember, last week was a big miss on that unemployment claims. It will be before we talk tomorrow. We do have chart school tomorrow. Like I said, now that the boys are out and I'll have coverage, they'll be here tomorrow morning. So I'll be able to do a chart school tomorrow morning afterwards at 9:30. Um, Curious to see what this number comes in as. Like I said, a lot of states were getting rid of unemployment benefits. There was a lot of I know there's a protest down in Annapolis near me because of it. But I know two different restaurants that have days that they are closing because they just don't have the staff. They can't hire people fast enough. So and it's kind of it's an issue. It's like a legitimate issue. Um, what are you gonna do? If you don't have people, you gotta close down for a day for the current staff that you have. So um, we'll see how that rolls. All right. So let's go over and dive into charts. We'll go into the currencies first. Dollar index, and again, we're at a level right now. You can see that for the last hour and a half, it's really slowed. I talked about this in the Nadex presentation that we have a level sitting right here. And again, I guess I could draw two. Remember, this is not something that we're really trading, but we have one level there, right? And then we had this other one that we kind of had coming off of right here, right? Actually, this should be. We're gonna do it. I guess I could do it there. That's probably fine. So we have two different levels where we could see some type of a pop. Now, if it does break through and it does come through this 91.30, again, this is not something we're trading, but there's a big racetrack here all the way back down into really down into here, the 90.50. Now, that's quite a drop, right? That's quite a drop in the dollar index, but just know that that's where we're at with the dollar. We got two small areas of buyers and then a potential reversal. With that in mind, though, we can see kind of where we're going to be with everything else. So Aussie dollar, you see, is continuing to grind. I wouldn't say there's any like super clear levels. We had this one where we wanted to break. We can remove that now. Let's pull some of these off. Yeah, I don't need that. Should keep that level, but I'm not going to. Here's our area of interest, and you can see that it was a base, a top, a front run. It peaked, and it basically rode in, was a top, and then became the bottom for this kind of takeoff. There's a couple of small levels in here, but none of them are like, I mean, there's a small one here. This one's okay. I would say the next real clean levels obviously are going to be up top here, which we got quite a bit of ways to run for that one. And then obviously we'd have to draw something here because there was, obviously a lot of movement off a very short, I mean, this is just a huge drop. It did spend a bunch of time there, though. It's probably an old area, but we'll leave it on there right now, just because, again, very, very strong movement off of that. Let's go ahead and adjust these charts around. Let's put this to here. We'll just put it here to keep it kind of orderly right now. Let's change this to red. Okay. You guys can hear it in the background, right? I gotta. It depends on what microphone I use, whether you guys can hear or not. She's making all kinds of noise today. She's like, "Oh, you're talking? I can do that too." Let's pull this across. I was really hoping to be something better in here. Let me see on an hourly if there's anything cleaner. Hmm. Change that to yellow. It's 15. That's a potential level. I would set an alert. Set yourself an alert right there. The very, very near side of that one. Set yourself an alert depending on the time of day on that. That could be a potential roll spot right there. Again, hourly level, right? The lower time frames, it gets a little bit choppy back and forth, but it's a decent level and it has a decent little. You can see the little base in the pullback. So I'd say 76.32 would be the next level to watch out for reversal in this one. It's about 40 pips higher. So if anything, it's probably a later today type scenario. We'll see. All right, let's see. It looks like we're getting some dollar weakness in. Let's check to see what our PMI numbers are here. All right, so yeah, it's kind of split. This one they adjusted higher, but then it came in higher again, and this one dropped. Services dropping by 5 is it's interesting, but again, it is going to be a split, so this should help the Dow a bit more. And again, with flash services, that may hurt the the NQ a bit. They're kind of sliding more over to the services side of things at this point than manufacturing, which would be the Dow. But this should help the Dow a bit. That they're seeing this manufacturing go a bit higher. So yeah, so that's not bad. But like I said, split number, I don't think we'll see a lot. So everything should roll into the 10:30 time frame there. Aussie dollar. I'm sorry, Aussie yen. So Aussie yen, let's see. Let's bring this across. We have our 3 o'clock time frame sitting right there. Let's see. I can pull a lot of these off. Let's extend these across. There. Pull this across. That's going to be a level we're going to watch out for. I'm going to steal this one. That one's good. Don't want to take that long again. Probably not. Let me drop down to 30 and see if I can refine that a little bit. No, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to. Maybe a little bit. All right, so we're going to put this in here. And again, I don't love this one, but we're going to put it for an area to go long. Let's see. It is 60 down. Let's pull that. I'm going to pull another one here. Right there. Oops, I moved it. Right there is fine. Let's change that to red. I'm going to pull this bottom one here. Yes, Jinjin? Oops, not that green. There we go. All right. So right now, 45.60 and 83. I'm sorry, 84.60 and 83.60 to the downside. Kind of that 100 pip range is really what I'm looking for. There's a little hiccup in the middle, but not necessarily as worried about it as much. I wouldn't say that it should be anything earth shattering. It's kicked it away once, but again, it made an immediate kind of response back again. So I'd expect it to get broken through. Based on what we've seen today, I would see it coming up. Again, Australian news or European session open, I could see it rolling from that level. But I think either of those two is good. Kind of keep those focused on your radar right now, as these two being the main potential kind of shorts. And these are just much, much higher up. And again, there's obviously one much, much lower, but nothing we can really do with that necessarily right now. All right. We'll keep it there because that was a decent bottom with a test on a 30 minute. So I like either of those two. But again, look for this to come up, bounce off 84.60. Euro pound. So euro pound, again, kind of choppy back and forth. We had this level, and we mentioned that we had a level. Again, it was quite a large level, and you can see we spiked into it very, very quickly and came right back up, and we're sitting there right now. There was your European, open session. We can remove this now. The problem with this one, and again, that's from one of the bigger levels. Right now, the last true test we have is up here at 85.80. I don't really. It's an all right. I'd like this if this was green versus the red being high. Um, Probably gonna have to use this. Although, again, one, two, three hits. That's probably gonna get broken. Maybe if there's news associated with that when it comes up there, if we watch it. But besides that, I don't really have a lot. It's kind of more. Kind of want to see it more breakthrough at this point. Because, like I said, we know we're in this range. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna pull it. Let's pull it down here. Oops. Pull that. Let's go back to an hourly, refine that level. across. There we go. All right, so here would be our next entry, 84.91. This we don't need anymore. We finally broke through that. I mean, really, I mean, based off this chart, again, this top has been hit a few times. So I don't necessarily love that one. Um, but I'd say right now, these are our kind of two levels that we're looking as far as like the curve goes right now. 84.96. I'm sorry, 85.96 and 84.91. I think are decent tops and bottoms. Again, the European session pushes up and it's kind of getting flat at this point as it rolls back down again. I would, based off the data that we saw this morning, again with the pound being good, I would assume if I had to make a prediction, I would say that this comes down. And the true question is, are we able to take a bounce? I'm still overly bearish this one. I do believe that the pound is much stronger than the euro. So it's really trying to just find good entries. And is this a grid entry? Not really, but if we can break through, again, there will be some trading around this 85.30 pivot level as support and resistance traders step into this. But I think you got to maintain, just the downward side pressure on this one. Again, profit targets on any shorts at 84.91. Could there be a bounce off of there? Sure. You can see that there's a whole bunch of news releases over here. So there is definitely a potential for us to roll and kind of get that one to bounce. Now, Euro Yen, you're seeing push up. This is one of those ones where you guys can see it very easily. We were looking for potential shorts here. It hit it, it hit it, it hit it again, and it's forming that base. You're like, yup, it's breaking. And it did. It broke through, came up, touched, then it's pushed higher. And all it did was grab kind of levels up here. And again, it's kind of a funky little area up top. At this point, I would use this level, but I would use it more for the downside. I would be looking to take more of a short here. Just because we had the racetrack again, we were looking for the break above. We ended up getting the break above, but now it will be switched to the other side, right? Um, at this point, I'm looking at this as a potential drop through, right? I'd be looking for a roll. And again, could it roll here? Sure. Could it roll up top here? We definitely have another little zone that we're looking for that we had the test off of once already. Pull some of these off just to kind of keep this as clean as possible. I like that as well. Really kind of looking for, and again, I'll put this there. That kind of gives us a better box. This area here is kind of what I'm looking for. If we can get a push through, would be some type of a break back down and then potentially a bounce. And again, we've seen this European, I guess you could call it strength, but I mean, again, we're just looking for an area to roll over. It looks like there's some sellers right above where we are. So, you know, kind of a push down, a base, a break of 132.04. Look for it to collapse down further. This one has about 70 pips to move to the downside, so it's a decent runner with profit targets down here at 131.37. Millie, go, go, go. She decides that she wants to play with the birds now, so the birds are not having any of it. Uh, Eurodollar. So Eurodollar's got a small little level here. Now, it's been decent, this 91.94. Again, it provided a decent bounce and a decent drop to the downside. So I think there is some potential in this one. Let me erase some of these just to kind of keep this chart loading quick. I don't need that. That one, you guys know what happened there. That one blew through a full profit target. This one, I don't need that anymore. We'll delete that one. I'm going to steal this one right now. Let's adjust this up. And you can see we're dealing with kind of a racetrack. So I like this for a short. I do think that this, has the potential to kind of come lower. But I will say if we get much, much higher, I do like this area for a short as well. So, these are maybe potential trades for the rest of this week. If not, save them. Again, this was the FOMC notes, but again, a lot of pressure to the downside. There'll still be people that are willing to sell at that level. So I think two decent levels of short are 199.92 and 121.13. Downside, again, we're still waiting for this to come down here at 108. I'm sorry, 118.07. You can see this one chopped through 1, 2, 3. Number 4 is what broke it. It pulled back and grabbed it again, that kind of Harry Potter lightning bolt, and has pushed it higher. It's just about that. It's just about its 1 to 3. It should go a little bit higher, and again, profit taking at 119.92. So, hopefully you guys were able to trade this one. This is nothing new here. But again, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the breaker. Pull back, grabbed it off to the races, and take your profit up top. But I do think that's also decent for a rollover for the euro dollar. Now, pound yen. Pound yen is cruising. Now, this one didn't quite give us the pullback. You can see that it came through. It was the level they were looking for. We wanted more of the extreme, and it did. It finally pushed through, but it didn't pull back. It just based above it at this level and ended up punching higher. So I think there's some decent plays in this one. Obviously, this is where right here really is actually where the European session opened, and all it did was just kind of provide some sideways movement. It was all movement pre-news release. So I like the way that this punched higher. I'm going to take this level off now. I'm going to move it over here. And basically, I'm going to block this area and I'm going to steal this one, even though this is, you know what? I'll leave that one. I'll just steal this one over here. There's an area right here. And again, I think there's a decent trade setup if price is able to finally roll over. I'm not super, and again, this is kind of like an if this, then that. We know that sellers are stepping in here, and this is a very, very small level. I don't think there's going to be too much we can do at this level here. I think if you are looking for an actual kind of true short, right? Excuse me, true short, true reversal, it would be up here at 155.93. This is an area to watch out for, and again, if it's near news or an open, it could provide a switch, a flip over, but I don't think that it's necessarily the strongest levels, particularly when we have one just a little bit higher. But if we do have a break of this 154.19, I do think there's a decent run to the downside for this one that we'd be able to kind of get a play in. And again, it's in the middle, yeah, but it's coming out of this high section here, and you can see the 1 to 3 is right there. So it's got plenty of room before it runs into sellers on the opposite side. Is it a today based trade? Probably not. That would take a lot. That'd be a heck of a reversal. It's going to take some type of bad news for this really to kind of roll. And again, they will have bad news. It could be, who knows, like the Delta variant is starting to go crazy in the UK or something, right? I mean, something weird, right? Is probably what we're looking for. Um, Trying to think, what else? I still don't think I'm going to take this one. It's a level, but I don't. I just don't know how much are we talking here. 7 pips. Uh, yeah, I think I'd still wait for the 155.94 ish. Yeah, I'd wait for a roll over there. So these are kind of the two trades. Break here, break here. I don't really necessarily have a buy area. I mean, they could bounce off of this, but it did spend a lot of time there, and it was an alright explosion. I mean, maybe we trickle back down for an open, maybe. But right now, I'm more looking for a break either of those two levels. Again, set yourself alerts. Don't watch this one; it'll get painful. So pound dollar. We talked about this earlier. It's at a level, and again, you can refine this. Again, that's where the touch came in on the 30-minute. If we use the body of the green candle here, and that's about where we're at right now, right around this 140. It's an all right level. The things that I don't like about this one is, again, I still think that because of lack of Fed kind of conviction, I do feel that this is. I would be, if I had to pick a direction of what I feel this one, where this one should go, I would still say bullish. It is at an area. It is in the middle. It has been tested. It is 10 o'clock. It is kind of around where we should be looking for a reversal and a profit taking. So all those factors are there. I'd like it if it was kind of at this higher level, really either of these two levels up top. But I think there's probably a better short in there up top than there is right now. And again, if you want to be overly aggressive, again, you could take it. There's two levels. We have aggressive and actually there. I would say right now, another thing that I would look out for, particularly with kind of what we're seeing news wise, is if we get a break above the 140.24 level, there's some decent room to run here to the top side. Oops, not that one. I forgot that I had said it. Let me go long. Something along these lines up top, right? And that's a 1 to 3.2. 1 to 3 is right there. You can see that it is the profit target here is before the kind of where the seller stepped in. So we do have room to run. It would be a break of 140.24 and lead us up about 60 pips. So again, decent runner to the top side if we're able to break through. And again, some telltale signs about this one as we come up and really start basing this level if it's not an immediate rollover. And again, we are what, 1 minute before 10 o'clock. We are prime reversal area. So again, there may be something short. And actually, let me pull it up. Maybe there's something. Let me see if there's something cheap in here. Maybe worth something if you can get something cheap on this one. Let's see. No. I was looking to see if there's maybe a knockout somewhere around here, like a 140.25. There's a 140.49, which is like all the way up in here, right in the middle of this racetrack. So, let me see. now? 140.60 in the call spreads. Sometimes those things are there, sometimes they're not. It's like, even something around 140 would have been somewhat okay, but there's not. There's nothing even close. Uh, oh well. But yeah, I think there's probably something in there. Yeah, I was really hoping something would match up, but whoops, man, I keep hitting that. I don't know why I keep hitting that button. Um, Clear these as much as we can. That didn't come up. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking for right now. I think that gives us our best opportunity. If we don't get the reversal here, and again, you could wait for it to pull back and come back. The true Harry Powder, the punch through, the pull back, and then the long for 140.24. But yeah, again, 1-2. This is hit number 3, so it is a valid level. Both of them are decent on this one. But yeah, it's 10 o'clock. What do we have the rest of today? Let's see, new home sales. I don't think Bostic is going to be able to do it. New home sales way down. Look at that. Lumber prices are coming down, and now we're selling less homes. It's so funny how that works. High lumber prices, everybody's buying homes. Lumber price comes down, nobody's buying, or a lot less people. Um, yeah, it's like I said. If you wanted to go short here, it's not a bad level. You only got about 11 pips worth of risk to the downside. It is in the middle, so again, it's not an extreme, which we typically like. At this point, you know, if you remove the pair, I would say that I like the short. When you look at the pair, I like the long. That's kind of my opinion. Dollar CAD. So dollar CAD is also in a level right now. Now we did just get horrible CAD data, so technically this should be going higher. Okay. Um, it's quite an odd candle pattern, though. I don't necessarily love the candle formation. Having those two spikes down and then the wicks being at the exact same spot is not really ideal. Um, but I would say at this point, I mean, again, we had the short in here. That short is not complete. It's come all the way down to its profit target. We are hitting a level that has been tested. You can see it's having a little bit of an issue here. And European Open was kind of right here. So, I mean, you know, this time yesterday, we were here. 148 pips is a lot. The daily ATR on this position right now is 84, right? 84. So, you know, it's a lot of movement, right? In a very short period of time. Almost double. We're super close, right? We missed it by about 8 pips, but we're now in an area that's a tested level of buyers. If for some reason we really start to kind of come down here and start to base sideways, we need to be extremely cautious because of the racetrack sitting here. There is probably a short in here. Unfortunately, on a 30-minute, there's not really a clean entry, but this is a decent runner. We got 70 pips to the downside if we have a break of the level here at 122.36. Now, again, terrible CAD data should not be bringing CAD strength into this. I would say just like the pound dollar is in an area where we should be seeing a reversal, this one should also be a reversal to the long side. I hate, let's see, how big is it? I know it's misleading on this one. Yeah, I mean, it's 25. It's a bit much. I mean, really, I should really have it here, but that doesn't really help my case. Yeah, it's still 25. It's such a big level that I really just it's almost too much, you know? I mean, figure right now, the ATR on this one right now is 9 and it's at 25. It's like three, almost 4 times. Yeah, this one's hard. I mean, I'm dropping down into 15 minutes to the revision, but you can see it's really out. It really needs to be here, but there's another little small level underneath. So I don't know. I would say with the pound dollar where it is and the dollar CAD where it is, we should be seeing dollar reversal. Um, and again, we've managed to push through. I'm wondering if it's going to have to come to this lower one here. This one managed to just kind of peek its head out that side. Um, what? You have to. Mommy's on a call, dear. She's now that mommy's home, working from home, she is getting very attached to mommy. When she wants something, she comes to daddy. But She likes to hang out with mommy. She likes to hang out under mommy's desk. I don't have an under desk in this room, so it's kind of funny. Um, yeah, I want to say long on both these, or long on this one, short on the other one. Dollar Swiss. Okay, there's a couple levels here. I talked about this one as being breaking of the 91.63 level. I do like it short with profit targets at 91.26, 90, 84, and 89.92. I still like this one to the downside. Like I said, I haven't really seen major dollar strength. I know we're at reversals and there is kind of a piece here, but I think the Swiss kind of outmaneuvers us on this one. So I would like to take this one down and bring it all the way back into the 89.92 level. Right now, we should, you wait for the pullback. Each of these is decently spaced, right? 38, 33, and then this one was the bigger one at 80. I do see it kind of rolling back down and at least probably flirting with the 90 level. We're at 91.50ish level right now. If we're able to break through, and again, the 91 level here, I think is our first really valid target. Oh, did you touch a button? Oh, what did you do? Oh, you got all kinds. Oh, what did you do? You hit buttons, didn't you? Here you go. There's Easter eggs. Go ahead. She has her little code. I think 91 is really our first target to the downside. 91.26 makes sense. We will have a hiccup there, but I think 91 is really our first target. Once we come down to 91, I expect a little bit of a bounce off this level, but you just can't. There's no way to deny this racetrack right here. This was a huge push up in price, especially on a 30-minute candle. This is what 85 pips. That's a big move inside of the dollar Swiss. I think we have to take advantage of that and take that one short when we eventually break through. And again, the 91 level is going to be the first psychological level we need to break through to the downside. Okay. Um, dollar yen's pushing higher. We had that short in here at this upper area, and again, one, two, number three. You guys can see the number three hit here. I'll just extend this across. Um, we ended up hitting the third time, pulling down, and it got a little bit over 1 to 1, and then hit number four is where it finally broke, and it kind of pushed in, and then it went higher, and then pulled back to the same level. Um, there's not really a lot of clear entry for buys in here. I mean, just literally, it's just grinding up, right? And just a lot of impulse corrections. I wouldn't say there's anything explosive. There's a bit more down here, but I mean, we're talking about 100 pips to the downside. I don't see any catalyst right now to be able to drive that one any higher or any that one that low. And really, when you're looking back, I mean, it's been such a big amount of time since we've been over here. I mean, here I'll go up to the higher time frames. You can see it, right? This is where our spike is right now at the 111 area. We had kind of a really strange candle piece up top. Did you hit a button again? No, you don't want this? Okay. Yeah, I'll fix it. This is what we're dealing with on a 4-hour basis, right? Well, you hit the back button. She's gotten to the stage where she wants help with everything. Here you go. It's fixed. So this is the only little hiccup where we are right now before clearing all the way up into the 111.60 range. As you can see, I mean, even as this top, is it clear? Not really, right? I mean, it boom, 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 and then successfully, finally, it fell, and that was at 111.50. So psychological, we got about 80 pips to move. There is a little bit of a hiccup right here. I don't know if you guys can see this little kind of level of basing right there. That's kind of what we're stuck at right now, but it wasn't like it was a really great clear pullback or anything like that. This was back in March of 2020. A lot of kind of indecision, obviously, during that time. So I mean, that's when the whole kind of COVID thing was just kind of becoming real, right around the 25th of last year. So you know, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of this pair. I haven't been a big fan for a while. It's just way too much sideways movement, way too much choppy, and even now, I would say that you know is it giving us great levels to launch off of? Not really. I think there's much better opportunity out there. Something that's a little bit more clear. There's not as many factors, and there's a lot of factors that ride on the dollar yen. Dollar strength, inflation. What are the indices doing? Global affairs, the yen. I mean, there's just so many things. I go with the easier ones out there. I think this one's a little bit more challenging at this point. Um, looking at gold. All right, so gold looks like we got a nice pop at the open, and again, PMI does have the potential to do that one. It's probably an actual PMI spike, right? Yeah, it's a 945. It spiked right before it. So um, I think it's a decent level to kind of take some shorts off of. I like the fact that it finally pushed one of the boundaries. The problem is we know that we have some sellers sitting in here. I would say I feel like you need to be long gold. And again, I don't know if this is probably not the most popular of like day trading positions, but everything that we're seeing out there tells us that inflation is coming. They're not really focusing on inflation yet, but it's coming. I mean, and I'll tell you right now, the reason why you need to watch out for it. And again, this is kind of counter to the day trader sentiment. If you think about who the major investors in gold are, right? Do average individuals have a stockpile of gold in their home? No. Okay. Gold tends to be used as a way to maintain wealth. It's not a great investment, right? Because it's not like you're making money off of gold. Because we're seeing massive inflation and gold is going down this year, right? But what gold does is gold is a way to maintain wealth. It is basically it's a hedge for inflation. You're not making money off of it, but you are maintaining your wealth. The people that have gold as an asset are not going to allow gold to disappear because then it really hurts their kind of controlling of wealth, right? So I do think in the very near term, I do think that gold launches itself back up again. Um, I do think that, and we're hearing things about crises about, this low inflation. Like, how do we get out of this low interest rate environment? Like, are we setting ourselves up to fail by having this low? And I would agree. I definitely think we are. Um, and the fact that gold hasn't launched itself yet, I think it's giving people abilities to get in. I mean, right now you can see we're up 0.77% today. It's up $13. Has there been action off of it? Sure. Does it really need to clear through the top of this before making a concerted effort back to 1800? Absolutely. 1800 is a big level. 1800 is sitting right here. Let me just do a horizontal line. It's easier, so I don't have to mess with it. Right there. Let's change this to black. Um, right there. So 1800 is going to be a big psychological number. If we don't roll over immediately, push back down, which I kind of feel like we're going to probably mess around a little bit and then probably tumble back down again. I think 18 or 1780 is probably where this one's going. If we can break through the 1800, though, that is the psychological level that the media needs to launch us higher. If we do, and we can base around that 1800 figure, there is a small level there. I think that's where we go ahead and we start really, taking our profit on this one. Um, Unfortunately, for the rest of the week, let me unclick this real quick. You know, Tomorrow there's final GDP and unemployment claims. Is that really going to affect gold? Not really. I mean, it's the final number. We don't really expect much change on that one. When you look at that one, you can see that some of these have been off, but again, they're trying to pick. It's off by 3%. I mean, they're pretty close in the direction where it's going. -5 was dead on. This one was dead on. This one was off by just a little tiny bit, right? December, they were off by. I mean, we're talking about 33%, right? They're pretty close. I don't expect there to be a big change with final GDP. I don't see this being a big gold mover. When you go into Friday, here is one right here that I think is decent. The core PCE price index month over month. Again, it is a gauge of inflation for what you and I pay. It's expected to be less. It's still positive, but it's expected to be less inflation than what it was, less price increase than it was. I do actually think that kind of sets us up for more of kind of a pullback opportunity. So, I'd love to say just go long. I do think if we break 1800, it does give us the power to go higher. If by some chance we can rally, again, if we maintain or if we're at that 1800 when that PCE number comes out, I think you go long. I definitely think this Friday number, we have the ability to get into this one pre-news release. But right now, I feel like this is going to roll back down. But overall, I mean, I always get asked, what am I thinking longer term? I think you need to be bullish gold. I think finding it, gold at these cheap prices, I think is a decent way to get into things. Silver's obviously, kind of it's rallying. It's basically stuck in the same channel. It's got decent levels, and again, if we wanted to draw a box, it's basically been stuck inside of this box. It's got to break through the levels up here really before we're really taking much from it, right? From here to this level. So a little bit more room to run, but again, it was a decent base. It was a decent drop. Still channeling, moving twice as much. It's 1.75 versus the zero point 0.8, so it is over. But kind of the same thing. If silver manages to push up a little bit higher to 26.34, look for a roll, flip back to the downside. I think it gets bogged down in the same area. Now, of the two, I am bullish gold. I do not have the same bullish nature with silver. I feel like silver right now is the internet traders way to say, hey, listen, let's hedge for inflation. Let's play silver. I just don't see it. It is an industrial metal. It does rely on China a lot, but I just don't see it being one of those things where I'm like, yeah, it's going. It's just, my opinion is, I'd be much more willing to short silver than I would be gold. If that makes sense. And again, this is a very decent base on the 30-minute coming up. It needs to move about 20 cents more to kind of turn and roll. What? Outside? Okay, when Daddy's done, we'll go outside. Oh, she hates being told no. I'm in so much trouble when she's older. Um, I'm gonna cover oil last. Actually, let's see. Let me check oil real quick to see if oil is doing much. Nah, it's not doing anything yet. Let's see. Oh, we are starting to stabilize a little bit there. I like the fact that this is pulling back. This is good. It's like, yeah, pull back, pull back, pull back. Um, see what it does. It's not giving me the exact. It is doing the hold like I like. So it is holding in a good area, and actually the hold looks like it does want to bounce a little bit higher. But let's see if we can hold that for the next 15 minutes in that same spot. That would be a decent hold to go up. Um, let's look at the indices. So there's a 5 minute chart. You can see it's been a choppy open. Yeah. We'll drop it to 15, and again, it doesn't look much better on the 15. Here's that level we talked about before, and again, we hit it, we broke, and then we use that as a basing level to go higher. It didn't quite get back up to it. I would say, there's a level up here. The 42.56. Right now, there's not a lot of direction. Again, considering the open, I mean, the open was here. What have we done? Open was here. Nothing. Up, down, up. We're in the same exact spot. We're up 0.11, up 4 points in the yes. I wouldn't say it's a major market mover. Um, Oil will help this a little bit, but I mean, right now, I feel like you know all the good that we've had this week. I feel like it's going to it's going to roll over and drop to the downside. We can adjust this area slightly here. I would say that whew, at this point, we have this one drop here that we're looking for a break of 4,200. I would say if we have a break of this level here at 4225, again, psychological number, look for that target to come down to 4205. And same thing if we're managed to grind a little bit higher up to 4256. I think there's also another potential opportunity to roll. Um, I would say if we don't go any higher, if we just start to roll back down again, watch to see what happens in this level. This is a decent base, and again, it's kind of an afternoon kind of takeoff. It's a 230 pop. There could be one more buy off of this. We really need some momentum. I mean, if we can come down to here, right? That's 2, 3 o'clock. If we can get into here, right, that could be a takeoff point for an end of the day rally today. But we need a little bit more movement. I'm kind of leaning more towards it. It's going to grind up. It's going to have a little bit of a problem. But I like the 42.56 as a potential kind of roll point. Um, I think either of these three shorts are probably decent. The 42.05, remember, is a target. I'd be cautious about a long there because, again, we had the base here, the pullback, the one touch, the two touches, the three touches. I really like the 42.02 as a short coming back down to 41.74. But right now, you can see, I mean, here's where we were yesterday. Let's see, hold on. Where are we at? Right. I guess we were sitting right here at this level. So we've popped, but after the initial pop, we're kind of in that same level. The overnight just kind of drove us down and drove us back. So not much in a yes. We'll see if we can clear this. Again, look for a slow grind today up to 42.56. If for some reason we roll again, look to go long. I think today I'm saying I like long either way. Tomorrow I'm looking more towards shorts inside the ES. Now NQ is trying to rally a bit higher, and it's doing okay. We're in territory now where again you can see there's nothing over here. So again, we're really looking for this one to put a kind of a top in. The last short we had, we were looking for 42.85, and again we touched it front run here, pop through, and then use that same level to Harry Potter. I think we're kind of waiting for the top side to kind of be put in, and we don't really necessarily have one. Whoops, I did it again. God, why do I keep doing that today? Trying to think even where I would go long again on this one. Hmm. It's a decent level, but I think if we can pull back into this level here, it's probably another buy. Um, this could be an end of day rally spot if we roll. I don't know if we'll roll though. I feel like we're not going to roll with the numbers we've seen with the services number. I felt like this is fully justified by the services number. You may say, wait a second, what the heck? This is tech. Well, yeah, tech does a lot of services. That's where they make most of their money at this point. Is the services. All right, YM. So Dow's bouncing off. Like I said, not the best of opens. I don't really like this open either. I'm not really worried about this one. I mean, really at this point, let me pull this up for a second. It's a small level there. That's what I was wondering. Let me check that level on the 30. Yeah. Manufacturing was decent, but it wasn't way over. That's kind of a hard one. We're not really at an extreme. It is a 30-minute level. You can see on the 15, there's a lot of basing in there, and there was no real explosion out of it. It's hit it and popped and then tested it a second time. It's most likely going to fail if it comes back down there again. I just don't see that. This would be a very, very odd place for kind of it to stabilize itself. Um, the next time we really have any explosive movement would be here, which is again, this is a US Open on the 22nd. It's decent. It didn't really turn at a level, so it's kind of hard to really kind of pull much from it. It is 68-point level, so it's kind of a it's not the smallest of levels. Let me see something real quick. Let me see on a 30 if I could shrink it a little bit. No, not really. Um, was hoping for a better candle formation. Ideally, in this situation, I like the red to be the deep one, not the green. I don't like the fact that the green was. Um, hmm. So two candle bottom. You can see, look at this. Look how much time it spent at that level. There's just not going to be a lot left there. If this comes back down again, I don't see this stabilizing. Um, and it's a pretty ugly open. Look at this. Open is right here. Chop, 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 drop, chop, 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 and it pulled right back up again. It's not. It's 10 points different, so it's 0.03% right now. Kind of sideways movement, right? Um, One thing you could do is you could use this for a Harry Potter. And again, we're on a 5 minute chart, so this is really kind of stretched at this point. But if we have a break of 33,753, look for a drop to the downside. Right there makes sense with the profit target wise. That's short. Um, and it's got to chunk through so much. God, this one is boring. Even on the 5 minute, there's not an explosive candle in here. What a boring chart right now. Like even on the 30 minute, it's just junk candles. Try the 15 and see if I can find. I'm trying to find like a decent. Yeah, that's what I want. I'll do this. Um, hmm. That was at 9:30. Can I help you? Of course I can help you. What would you like? Oh, you hit the button again, didn't you? Yep, you did it again. There you go. Oh, wait, what did you pick? What are you doing on YouTube? Hold on one sec. She falls down the YouTube hole very, very fast. She's like, "Oh, is that something that I want to watch?" No, that's an ad. There you go. There you go. Yeah, so 33,753. Look for a break to the downside, and again, it's not going to be a huge move. We're dropping down probably to the 33,600 level, maybe 100 points to the downside. Right now, with it chopping back and forth, I mean, you can see on the 15 minute, we had a lot of basing, kind of a right around this 9:15, we kind of took a drop down, and we're pulling right back up to that same level. If we can get up to the 3420, I think 34,020 is probably a decent level to take a short from. You can see it on the 30 minute; it's better. But we're gonna have hiccups. I mean, we're gonna have a hiccup here at 33,900. We're gonna have a hiccup at 33,955. I think if we can get an extended push up again, we can use that 3420. But besides that, there's not really. I wouldn't say there's anything earth shattering in this one that I'm like, oh, that's great. That's a lovely one. Um, this is kind of. I'd be interesting to see what the volume was today. Because again, this is really nothing. This is just flat. I mean, this is rather ugly as far as where we are. I mean, here's where we were at 2 o'clock. So bad. Look at this European Open. Here's the European Open yesterday morning. And we're in the exact same spot from the European Open. We literally pushed down, pushed up the same amount, and we're in the exact same spot, right? Here's the European Open yesterday. There was the maximum push down, and you can see that there is basically the same run right there, right? From top to bottom, the same type movement back again from the European Open. So here is the first European Open from yesterday, 3 to 10. If I copy that and duplicate it, there is the Open. Here is the 3 o'clock candle to the 10 o'clock again. The same exact play in both ways, and we'll see if this one has the same type of retracement back up again. Um, 11. There would be your close. So let's see if this brings us right up into that 42 range. Yeah, puts us right up to the 34,020. Um, so we'll see. So we'll see if we can get this one all the way back up. Maybe we cut a little bit short, but we end up trying to find a way to take this one short in the overnight, right? And again, this is just copying measured moves from prior years. All right, let's go check oil and see if oil has pulled right back down. All right, so let's go down to a 5 minute here. Let's go see on Nadex how jacked up these things are today. Um, all right, so um, wow, there are no 2 hours even remotely close. Way to go, Nadex. Ha, there's nothing there. 8 to 2. What do we got here? Hmm. All right, so it looks like call spreads are out. Let me see what we got knockout wise. What do we got here? And again, this is how we normally talk about what it's going to do. This is what I mean by kind of holding. We can drop it down to 1 minute. You can see that it's holding. It's not really in the best of levels though, but this is what we mean by like stabilization and holding, where it doesn't do anything. Um, but I like to see it pushing into a decent level. It's not really. It's in an okay level for a buy right now, but it's not in the best of situations. Where are we at? We're at 73, 73.77. Wow. It's $1 in on that knockout and $1, well, 75 cents. Wow, we are literally in all the middle of every knockout bracket. So that's not going to work. So let's jump across and look at binaries real quick. um, let's see where we are right now. Great, we're in between two strikes. We're literally in between two strikes on the daily. There's a 73.90 and a 73.50. So the at the money, we're right in the middle, which is not going to work. Um, that will require 74.30. 74.30 is not bad. Let me mark that one off real quick. We're running out of time here. 74.30. That's for 28. Let me go down into the smaller duration here. All right, there is one here. That would be a 74.34. Yeah, the daily's a better one right now. There's a lot of premium jacked in the 2 hour. It's a $20 risk for a long right now, and it's the same exact price. I'd much rather have the extra day instead of just 2 hour, instead of an hour and a half, or not the extra day. I'm sorry, but the extra 2 hours. So the daily contract actually is a little bit better on this one. Short wise, let's see what we got. And again, the way this is holding, it looks like it wants to be. I don't like the fact that it popped early and then came back down, but it did grab some more buyers lower. What do we do in the open, in the overnight? Let's see, 3. Man, that's a big push up though. Let's see, $1.10. I was gonna say it's more set for the long, but this looks like it's gonna be a quick pop and roll over. Let's see what the number was. I know you have it. It's all right. Come on. Yeah, it came in. It came in what the API number was. So it's pretty close. So yeah, so it pulled back and went higher. Here was the 74.31 was the area we were looking for. At about $20 risk, if it just touches it from now till the end of the day, you're able to get a 2.5 to 1 out of that one. Um, Rest of reward. I mean, again, there's your stabilization. So we always talk about. I mean, I'll even drop that on 3. We talk about price holding. There's your price holding. Is this a level? Yeah, it's decent. It's not bad, right? It's okay. Ideally, I would have liked something a little bit cleaner, but we didn't really get it in the overnight. Really wasn't based off of a wonderful 30-minute zone. But yeah, I mean, there's the pop. So if we touch 74.31 today, there's your 2 to 1 risk to reward ratio trade. So all has to do is touch it. Like I said, it was $21 on the 2 hour and $23, I think, is what I looked. 22, $23. If we're able to just touch that once today. I think it was expected, though. I really think that the market prepared for this one. As I said, here's the API number, and it was 7.1. Here's the actual release of, minus 7.6. So I think everybody knew that it was going to be a miss. It was just how much, and I think that's probably expected. I don't think we'll get as big of a bang as everybody thinks that we would have gotten, because again, the API number was so far off. I think everybody expected that one. So that a lot of this may be baked in. If we can spike and touch that one, I'd look to get short. If we can get a some type of a spike higher, so it is what it is. I don't think there's any surprise that it was that big. So I love when they do this. They're like, no, we're gonna hold our forecast. It's like, how are you holding your forecast when this number was double, right? Just one of those things. So all right, so that is it for today. Let's go ahead and do our giveaway. Let me drag this over to this screen. It does a window. All right, I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to get in, or 30 seconds to a minute. I know you guys have a delay. Um, it is for 50 pip tips today because it is a Wednesday, and we will be on tomorrow. So don't forget that tomorrow we will be on at 9:30. Hopefully, we have a little bit less of the kind of European taking over the news releases tomorrow. But again, PMI days are always rough when there's like 12 different European and pound releases before the US goes in. Um, we'll see how it goes. All right, who we got in here? We got Will, Nadix, Debbie, Noro. All right, I think everybody's in. All right, let's close the giveaway down. And winner of today's drawing is, wait, let's see who we got in here. You know what's funny? Wealth Builder won what, Monday? Because we didn't do one yesterday. Wealth Builder came in, bought 5 tickets, rolled with a negative pip chip, and then he didn't come today for the double. Today would have been the day for him to come in and do the 5, to drop the 5 in there, right? I feel like Wealth Builder is going to have to go back to the risk versus reward uh, seminar, right? All right, winner of today's drawing is. Ooh, wait a second. I, Seriously, I'm going to start typing rigged. So, Debbie, did you win last Wednesday? I feel like it's been like Debbie, Marina, Debbie on Wednesdays, right? I mean, I said this last week too. The girls are like literally coming in and doing nothing, and like in the future, Briggs, all you got to do is type exclamation point ticket, and you get 1 free ticket. Reuters reports U.S. lifting Iran oil sanctions. Ugh, really? I didn't catch that. I'll have to look. I'll have to find that one later. Let's see if that would be a big thing. Let's see. Is it over here? It's not sitting over here yet, but yeah. All I gotta say is, if that is true, which again I haven't seen it yet, but it doesn't mean that it's not true. Eki, if the U.S. lifts Iranian oil sanctions, um, would you say that we have probably just empowered Iran even more? Right? They said we want to get rid of these oppressive things. Oh, and oh, by the way, the ballistic missiles is non-negotiable. And what is our response? Okay, we'll lift the oil sanctions. Hmm. How does that work? We have no interest in meeting with you, President Biden. We don't care. We're going to make ballistic missiles. Doesn't matter. Oh, and oh, by the way, get rid of these oppressive things. Okay, we're going to remove the oil sanctions. If that is true, um, yeah, I want to see what the grander scheme is. Um, right? Am I wrong? Right? I mean, literally, the guy says, "I'm not going to meet with you. It's not negotiable. We are building ballistic missiles. And by the way, get rid of these sanctions." I'm like, Putin's got to be like, "Wait a second. Maybe should I just say get rid of our sanctions?" Right? By the way, we're gonna make UFOs and new ballistic missiles, and we're gonna we're gonna put nuclear arms in Cuba. But hey, you know what? Remove the sanctions for the hacking, right? Okay. uh, yeah, we'll see. So, oh, let me give Debbie her stuff before I forget, because I would forget, and then I would hear about it later. Not from Debbie, probably from somebody else out there. But look at this, Debbie. Let's get her 50 points. Bam. But yes, I'll have to go back and look. But I really feel like the last 5 Wednesdays in a row, the girls have won. Yeah, right. I feel like the girls have won in the last five. Um, the girls are winning. The girls are winning. So yeah, yeah, we'll see. Oh, careful, Jim. All right, guys. With that said, I will catch you guys tomorrow. It's been a while since we had a Thursday morning session, so I'll be on tomorrow for Nadix. So if you guys are not following YouTube, go ahead and do it. That will be from 8:45 to 9, and then I will go ahead and jump back over here, and we'll do a live broadcast tomorrow morning from 9:30 to 10:30, as well as on Friday. So you guys have a good trading day today. We'll see what other types of news we can, hear about later on, and you know, make some good trades. So if you guys need me, I'll be on Discord today. I'm gonna go take the girl. I think she needs to eat breakfast first, and then we'll go outside, and then I'll be back. So if there's a delay, that's why I'm on girl duties today. So you guys take care. Catch you tomorrow.